post on my Facebook account because we're making this up as we go along. So if you want to get on your Facebook, look for my name, and my handle there is Volgus, and I'll spell that, Volgus, and that should show you my real name, Ken Hugel. One way or the other, get to me, and you'll see the latest thing that I posted is, hello, Comic-Con, here where you put questions for Anna Shaffer, which is probably a very good opportunity for me to introduce our first guest of today. You recognize her from several Harry Potter movies, from The Witcher. Please welcome Anna Shaffer. Virtual applause.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Or as we like to call it, celebrity executions. Yes. As you'll notice, we have some puddles here, some open wires. On the count of 3, we'll go run, stand in the puddle, grab a wire, and then the entertainment will really start.
Sounds good.
Anyway, we don't have a table. We have water on the floor here in bottles. I'm not talking about that water anymore. Although if the wind shifts, just open your mouth. You can have a drink. And I guess we'll just get right into it. I'm keeping my phone open. I got somebody who liked the question. That's a big help.
That's a good start.
All right, they like you. They really like you. So that which we know. Well, we'll start with some of the more informal questions. Is this your first time to Romania?
Do you know what? It's my second time. The first time was many years ago. I think I was shooting commercial around here somewhere. 24 hours. That was it.
Were you living where were you living at the time?
In London.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a short flight.
Yeah. But it's nice to be back here again.
Oh, good. Notice a lot of changes? I mean, since you've been...
Well, I think I saw the hotel and the studio, and that was pretty much it. So it's nice to actually see something more than that.
Okay. Well, let me just open up the Wikipedia stuff here, make sure everybody knows what they need to know. Okay, Anna Shaffer, female.
Correct.
I get the most helpful notes. This is the best. Okay, English. Mm-hmm. I can't get more obvious than that, I'm sorry. Okay. Actor. Oh, okay, there we go. No, I was actually looking, it looked like you have a role here of Ruby Button.
Yeah.
In a teen soap opera, Hollyoaks. I knew about the other things.
Yeah.
But was this your first role or an early role?
No, not at all. So I think I did that between the ages of maybe 18 and 21. So that was like after I'd done Harry Potter, playing a bit of a bitch. Ruby was a bitch.
Okay, which was a very big stretch because
huge stretch.
Clearly we're not getting there. You're actually a very good sport here today, so
no, not at all. We're nice and covered, so thank you for everyone for braving
so
the rain.
far. Okay, this is going to be more freeform than most, so I didn't know if you had any stories that you were just waiting to tell, or if we want to just talk about your career, anything that you haven't said.
I've been stuck inside for a year and a half. I've got no stories.
Yeah, that's kind of, yes, we've all been in COVID jail.
Jail.
So I was actually depending on the kindness of strangers to make this entertaining, but that's okay. Well, what are you doing these days then? I mean, it's...
So I just finished filming season 2 of The Witcher.
The Witcher, okay.
So we filmed that during the pandemic. I don't think I can say anything more than that, or I might get murdered by Netflix. So that's all very top secret, but that's going to be released on the 17th of December, which is really exciting.
Okay. You guys know me. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm a media Luddite, so this is all news to me. So even if you're not fascinated, I am. I don't care about the rest of you. But I did read a little bit when you were talking about getting murdered there, because of the discrepancy between the way your character is played on the show versus how she was originally in the books. You actually get some salt thrown at you for that.
I think it's interesting. People have varied opinions about Triss, which I understand. And the great thing about books and drama in general is that you can have your own interpretation of a character. So I hope that what I've been able to do is bring something a little bit different. Some people like it, some people don't, but that's life.
Yeah, it's amazing though. Toxic fandom.
I know.
It's a contradiction in terms.
People get irate.
Yeah.
Get a life.
Yeah. I follow the Star Wars, and so it's everywhere. Anyway, I mean, geez, we can even go on about the poor J.K. Rowling now with the Harry Potter films.
I'm not going to touch that with a barge pole, Ken.
Who knew? So it's amazing what you can talk about and what you can't, and how that changes from year to year. So, all right, I got a second like.
We're going up in the world.
All right, you guys, you have one job. And that's to help me out here, and I need all the help I can get.
Does anyone in the audience have a question?
Actually, now that we have a sizable audience with no microphone, so you're going to have to either shout or
Shouting.
Sign language. We got somebody with a hand up here, so let's give this a try.
I can hear.
Just to yell at you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, because I know there will be a lot of questions about Witcher, but before that, I wanted to ask, now, 10 years after it, how do you remember the time that you filmed for Harry Potter?
So that's a great question. If no one heard it, it was how do I feel 10 years after filming Harry Potter? So filming Harry Potter was such an incredibly magical experience. The only way I can describe it is like going to Hogwarts, because I was 15, I was going to school at the time, and so we all had to tutor with each other when we were at Leavesden Studios, and then we'd film for half of the day, learn for half of the day, just mess around and chase each other down corridors and eat loads of food in the canteen, and it was just such an incredible experience. But looking back, I wish I'd savoured it a bit more, because when you're 15, you're a bit of a moody teenager, and I think I was a bit too cool for school. I didn't appreciate that I was actually in this incredible film franchise, so I do wish I could go back and just really savour every moment a bit more. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice, actually. The franchise is still, vibrant, alive. They went from here to the Grindelwald films, and
Totally.
now they're talking about yet another Harry Potter film. Are you involved with any of this at all? Do you keep a finger on the pulse?
No, I mean, obviously always, keeping my finger on the pulse, and it's great that it's taken on all these different lives, and I think the books especially mean something to so many different people. I was such a huge fan of the books, so to be in the films is still kind of surreal to think that I was in Harry Potter when my mum used to read me Harry Potter before I went to bed, and I would queue up waiting for the next book to be released at W.H. Smith or whichever bookshop I was desperate to go and get the next book from. But what's actually been the greatest thing for me is that I'm still friends with so many of the people that I met on the films, and not just cast, but lots of the crew members as well. And we all try and meet up as much as we can, but obviously it's quite difficult because everyone's sort of spread out and doing different things now. But that's been the biggest legacy for me is my friendships.
Any talk of a reunion like they did with Friends?
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Be nice.
Hey, let's petition for that to happen.
Even like a high school reunion type thing. So, I'm sorry. Did anybody else? We got a microphone in the audience. All right. Anybody who actually wants to avail themselves of that microphone at this particular time?
Where is it?
Nope. Okay. No. That's all right. Moving on. I see somebody. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a question regarding Harry Potter. During the shoots, who did you get along with the most?
Oh, that's a good question. So during the shoot, I probably got on with Jessie Cave, who played Lavender Brown. Me and her are still really good friends today. And I actually auditioned for Lavender Brown originally. So, yeah, there's a little fact for you. Yeah, Jessie Cave and Scarlet Byrne and Afshan and the twins and Alfie Enoch, lovely Alfie, and Matt Lewis. We were just a lovely little crew. I think lots of us that joined for the Half-Blood Prince, so Scarlet Byrne, Jessie Cave, we kind of stuck together because we were the newbies, but everyone else welcomed us into the fold, and Bonnie was so lovely, and yeah, everyone was really nice. I know it's cringe to say, but everyone genuinely got on so well, and it was a family, especially for the guys that had been there since day one. They totally grew up with Harry Potter, and you can see that now because everyone's still such good friends. Thank you.
That's actually nice to hear, because I know in this series of films there were a lot of characters, very minor parts, but just a lot of, I'm not going to say small parts because that's I don't want to be...
Only small actors, no small parts.
Nice. All right, I'm going to remember that. But the fact that you still stay in touch and get along with everyone. So there was, as you say, there were no small parts because everybody is still...
And you have to remember, with such a huge franchise like that, the time and money that they put into making the films, as amazing as they are, mean that, a 5-minute scene on screen probably took 5 weeks to film, the detail and everything. So we were all hanging out together for such long periods of time. There was no other option, really, than for us to all kind of be friends. It would have been hell otherwise.
All right. I'm sorry, somebody here with a microphone?
Hello, I wanted to ask, what was your favourite movie when you were growing up? Sorry.
Oh, my favourite movie when I was growing up?
Yeah.
The Princess Bride.
I love it. Yeah.
My favourite film of all time. Yeah, that was my favourite one.
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you, because now we're going to have to spend 30 minutes trading quotes back and forth from the film. It's actually one of my favorites as well.
Classic.
Let's talk about your fan base.
Okay.
Do you sense a different flavor of fans from The Witcher versus Harry Potter, or they just tend to like you because you're you? And
Well, I suppose I've realised that I seem to like playing witches. That seems to be something that I do quite a lot. So I've definitely got a similar fan base in that respect. I think there's some crossovers between Harry Potter and The Witcher for sure. I think because of the video game element to The Witcher, there seems to be a bigger intensity with Witcher fans. That's not a bad thing at all. But I think it really resonates with people. It really means something to them. And so we feel such a big responsibility being part of the show to make sure that we can do the characters justice. But I think the flip side of that is, as we touched on before, you're not going to be able to please everyone. So that can be tricky. But what can you do?
Okay. And a question that's obvious to everyone except me, you play the games, right?
So I haven't really played the games.
Oh, okay.
I know, but The Witcher is an adaptation of the books. So I hope to be able to play the games one day, but I'm not a big gamer.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
I was thinking more in terms of live streaming, see how many people you could freak out. You playing the Witcher games and
Very meta.
people watching it.
Yeah.
So we have another question.
Hello.
There we go. Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I was just wondering, what was the most difficult scene you've ever had to film?
That is a really good question, and I've never been asked that before. I would say probably the most difficult scene I've had. I think that question you can break into 2 parts, because definitely you film difficult scenes that are physically demanding. Night shoots are always horrible because if you're filming at night, you're probably filming outside and it's probably going to be really, really, really cold. In season 1 of The Witcher, where Triss and Geralt meet for the first time, that was so freezing. I've never been so cold in my life. I had this big cloak on, and I think I had 7 pairs of tracksuit bottoms underneath. I looked like the Michelin Man. And so that was really hard. The scene itself was just us introducing ourselves to each other, so that wasn't demanding from a kind of acting perspective, but you're just trying to concentrate on looking like you're not totally freezing. So something like that's really difficult. And then I think I find scenes with lots of people are quite easy. You get into a rhythm and you get into a groove. But when you have a scene that's really emotionally charged with just one other actor, I find them quite difficult. Really rewarding, because once you kind of crack it, you feel great afterwards. But there's a scene in season 2, which obviously I can't say too much about, that I was really nervous about filming. It was quite emotional. It was just me and another actor. And I remember having a bit of a sleepless night beforehand, but being able to tackle that was really amazing, and I can't wait to see what it looks like if it doesn't get cut. Because that's the other thing, you build yourself up to do these really difficult scenes, then you watch it and you go, oh, right, okay, interesting, that didn't make the cut. But that's part of the parcel of, being an actor, I guess. Thank you.
All right. How did this start for you? How did you decide acting? You know, what was your childhood like? How did one thing lead to another?
Do you know what? I never thought that I would be an actor. I always thought I would be a writer or maybe a teacher. Both my parents are teachers. So I always thought that's probably what I would end up doing. But when I was at school, I really liked drama. I liked music and kind of creative things, but I didn't like my drama teacher. And my mum found a performing arts centre that was outside of my school where I could go and do the drama GCSE, which is what you do when you're 16 or whatever your qualification. And so they sent me there. They had an agency attached to their performing arts centre, and they asked me if I wanted to be part of the agency, and I was like, yeah, all right. And my first audition was for a Vodafone commercial. And I remember I had to go in, and you got partnered with a boy, which was very stressful when I was 13. And we had to pretend that we were hiding under an umbrella because it was raining. So we had to do that. And we had to be really close to each other. And he put his arm around me, and I freaked out because I don't think a boy had ever touched me before. And I was like, I really don't know if this is for me. And then my second audition was for Harry Potter. And things just sort of snowballed after that.
Nice, very nice. Okay, I'm sorry, I promised I wouldn't do this, but you did mention Vodafone, so I just have to say one thing. Together we can. Vodafone. It's a series of television commercials.
Fantastic.
And I do the voice work, so. Moving on, we're up to 3 likes. Count them, 3 likes on my question. No actual questions for this poor person, but seems to be par for the course. Anybody else? We have another individual here waiting for the microphone.
Hi.
Hi.
If you were to play again in Harry Potter, like now, what adult role would you audition for?
Oh, that is a really good question. I think I'd love being either Professor McGonagall or maybe a baddie. Yeah, maybe Bellatrix Lestrange, or I think being a baddie would be quite good. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. Somebody else? Oh, this is moving right along nicely. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
What scenes do you look back at and you're like, I really don't like how I look here? And how do you deal with that?
Thank you for your question. That is a very good question. I try not to do that too much because otherwise I don't think you would ever be able to move forward in your career ever. I don't know a single person that looks at themselves in a picture or in moving image and goes, bloody hell, I look amazing. I think only sociopaths do that. So I think it's normal to kind of be like, oh God. But one way that I've got around from feeling like that is to understand that so many people have a job on a show. So if I don't like my makeup or I don't like my costume, that's not my problem because that's someone else's job and that's someone's creative vision. And my job is to take that and take the words and try and bring it to life in a different way. So it's not me, it's a character. And also, I think the older you get, you sort of just get over that feeling. I look how I look. I can't do anything about that. Unless I have plastic surgery, I'm going to look the way that I look. And if other people don't like that, that's their problem. That's nothing to do with me. So there's definitely times that I've looked back on scenes and thought, oh, God, that's not a very flattering angle. But then you think, but it was a really interesting shot, and the cameraman did such an amazing job by going down on that angle, and I need to appreciate that rather than looking at myself, if that makes sense.
That not only makes sense, it's very refreshing because you hear all these horror stories about actors that get very protective of their character, and they're constantly, my character wouldn't do this, my character wouldn't look like that, and they're trying to do everyone else's job. So I think they need more of you out there.
Well, I think that always comes from people caring so much about the character and feeling like they have ownership from it. But I always approach it from a different way of being like, actually, I have no ownership over this. I'm like the vessel rather than being able to kind of take too much ownership over it. But I mean, I guess there's benefits to both methods. And
yes.
Yeah,
Because as I was saying that, I was thinking, no, I do remember instances where these poor characters have been destroyed by directors who didn't quite know, or writers who didn't get it, and so you're right.
I guess you just hope that you have that alchemy on a show where everything just comes together and
if
it
something
works.
is really, really wrong, it'll put up a red flag.
Yeah.
Everybody will sense it. So, okay, our next victim.
Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Oh. Okay. Tell me 3 things that you like about Tris.
Oh, thank you for your question. So 3 things I like about Tris are that I love how connected she is to the earth and to nature. That's something I feel like I can relate to. I don't know if you're into this, but I'm a Pisces. So I'm a water sign, and I love being by water and in nature. So I feel like that's a crossover that we both have. I love feeling connected to everyone else. And I think she feels things really deeply, which I really love about her, but I think that also means that she can expose herself sometimes to not being able to control those feelings and either being led astray or being taken advantage of by other people. So that's, it's got 2 sides to that point. And I guess my last one, I think she's really kind, and I love that about her. Maybe not everyone would agree. We've all read the books. But I think any misstep that she makes comes from a sense of duty and kindness, and that's something I really respect in her.
These have all been particularly good questions. You're making me look extremely bad.
Well done, guys.
So you're all welcome to my job next year. Please.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your favorite experience from the Witcher set?
Oof. That is a very good question. So many good questions today. So do you mean my favorite set or my favorite moment on set? I would probably have to say from season 1, there was a day that we were in the Canary Islands, and I don't think I even had any words in this scene, but we were just on the most beautiful set. There were these black rocks, and the sea was like splashing up against them. And I was with Therica Wilson-Reed, who plays Sabrina, and me and her have become so close since meeting on the show. And we just had to walk arm in arm down this pathway by the water, and I think Anya and Mahesh were speaking in the scene, and they had to do all the work, and all we had to do was just walk behind them. And we kept tripping up over the rocks, but it was just like the most idyllic, beautiful day. And it was one of those random scenes where you might not have even spoken to someone before in the show, but suddenly you're all plonked in the scene together. You're not even interacting, but it means that in between takes you can have a little giggle and a natter and a coffee together. And it was just the most perfect day. It was really hot. We knew we were all going to go out for dinner that night together, and it was just one of those days that you think, God, I can't believe I get paid to do this.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I had an interesting question. Oh, you know what? Since it's a dull moment here, let me ask you a question, see if you give the right answer. What is your favorite role?
Ever? What's the wrong answer? I'm worried.
No, this is something we had an actor here at the very first Comic-Con got asked that question. And the answer that he gave has stuck with me ever since, and it's like kind of a litmus test to see where people are in their acting careers. Because the answer he gave was, does anybody remember? The next one.
Ooh.
And that's like the best answer you could give.
That is the best answer.
So
I'm going to nick that answer.
Yes, that's free to everybody that comes up here. So, anybody else, or who's hiding the microphone? Okay, we've got a costume here that looks to be of some significance.
I recognize you.
King Forth's hermit Trigger. Could you help me out?
With pleasure.
Nice.
That was amazing.
Okay. Very good. Round of applause. Okay, at the risk of bringing it down just a little bit, have you had any, I won't say regrets, but opportunities in your life that you did, in retrospect, you wish you'd taken? Like Will Smith in The Matrix?
I don't think so. I think and it's taken a while to get to this point, but you have to think that where you are is exactly where you're meant to be, and that everything that you've said yes to or no to has got you to the point that you're at now. And I guess, like the actor has said with, the best role is the next role, you just have to look forward and not look back. And I think every opportunity is a learning opportunity.
Yes.
And to be honest, there's probably things that you do and you think, oh God, why did I say yes to this? Or then something else comes up and you think, well, I wish I was doing that, but I'm doing this and I'm not enjoying that. But that's a lesson in itself. And I think in any kind of career that is freelancey, so you're always kind of going from job to job to job, you just have to have conviction in your choices. Otherwise you fall into a black hole of despair.
Okay. Nope, that's a very fair answer, especially if you get a lot of opportunities and you need to start
Kind of.
looking at them carefully. So,
Yeah.
okay, let me see how many likes we're up to, because
Surely we've got 4 by
people
now.
aren't, we're up to 4, okay. We're just a house on fire here today. Has it actually stopped raining? I don't see any drops. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're good here. Well, let's see. You're a dog person, cat person, lizard person. Where are you? Where do you stand on pets?
I'm not hugely into pets. I know. I didn't have any growing up. I had a goldfish. I had 2 goldfish, and they both died. I know. So that kind of ruined animals for me. I thought, it's too much. I'm too emotionally invested in these goldfish. I couldn't do this again.
Any little brothers, sisters?
I've got a little brother called Joshua.
They're just as good. Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that? Is he into show business or following in your footsteps?
No, he is the much better version of me, much more sensible, much taller, much better looking. He studied politics and economics at university, and he just graduated during the pandemic, so he's not really had the chance to kind of branch out further than that. But my husband and I started a business earlier this year, which is a wine shop and a wine bar in the evening. So he's working with us in the evening, and he's doing very well there for the time being.
That sounds nice. That just sounds nice. Okay, here's an interesting question. Do you have any bad qualities that you're secretly proud of?
Oh, God. I mean, I drink too much, but I don't care. I drink too much, I eat too much, but I see it as being someone that loves life. I love living. I love going out to restaurants. I love being with my friends. I always want more. So I see it as a good thing rather than as a bad thing.
Are you going to have some time this trip around to sample the...
I hope so. Hopefully we'll be able to go out tonight. Got to leave tomorrow, so I know. Short but sweet.
Okay, all right. Never enough time. Okay. Here's something. Tell me something we don't know about you. Something that you haven't already said in all the interviews, if there is anything.
Oh, I'm grade 5 on the recorder.
The recorder.
The recorder.
Okay. Okay.
The unsung instrument.
All right. How many here watch The Mandalorian? Okay. You know, the instrument that's at the very beginning of the theme show, that's the recorder. That's how I found out what a recorder is, so that's how I'm passing it along to you. And it's grade 5 out of how many?
8.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
So middle of the road. But I think maybe it's not the same over here, but in England, definitely at school, you get taught the recorder and you learn how to play, nursery rhymes and things like that. And nobody does the recorder past maybe grade 1 maximum.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was dedicated enough to get to grade 5 speaks to how much of a loser I am, I think.
I had no idea how universal that was. Because when I saw this, again, The Mandalorian and the recorder, I said, oh my God, I remember we were in like 2nd or 3rd grade and they handed one of these things out.
And you had to just...
Solid plastic. And all we found out was how great they are for hitting each other. That just everybody went home bruised and bleeding that day, but and I don't think anybody ever learned to play it.
I know.
They got confiscated the next day. And
I always think about the poor, sad recorders that must wind up in everyone's attics or, at the bottom of your bed somewhere.
Well, apparently they also come in like huge, big baritone versions.
Absolutely.
God, so like get some whales angry playing that. Okay, how many pairs of shoes do you own?
That is a private question, Ken.
Well, I didn't.
And I plead the 5th.
And now, unless your name is Imelda, it's a fair question.
Yeah, I'm moving house at the moment, so I've been confronted by just how many pairs of shoes I have. And it's a disgusting amount.
It's that bad?
It's quite bad. And also I seem to like very similar variations of the same shoe. So I'd be like, oh, but I need that same shoe, but with like a red stripe or something. It's like, it's exactly the same. Why do I need that? Help. I'm beyond help.
No, you're watching an internal struggle. My wife is here.
Oh, really?
So I don't dare say anything, because it'll be the last thing I say. But I actually did just get a signal that we are running low on time, but we are up to 7 likes. No questions. Is there anybody else here waiting at the microphone so we can wrap up? Because otherwise, we're just going to say our thank you to Ms. Shaffer here. You've been a very good sport. This has been
thanks for everyone coming out in the rain. That's so lovely of you. It was nice to meet you, and thank you for your questions as well.
And you know what? If the rest of Comic-Con is going to go like this, we're off to a great start. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
What's coming up here next, except I don't know myself. No, that's a map of the building. It's terrible. Okay. I have this stuff backstage. Anyway, please, everybody enjoy your day.
See you later.
Clearly,
Bye-bye. Bye, nice to meet you.
We're doing our best, so bear with us. Take care, everyone.